You're live on YouTube. You are live.
What? That must be time to actually be cotton for a minute.
Yeah. So, good evening. It's Chaz.
George.
This is Friday Night Live with Tideline Marine and Cross Industries. So, been one hell of a week this week, hasn't it, George? But I'm exhausted, to be honest with you. I don't know about you. Toast.
Well, on Monday I thought it was Thursday, so
That's a bad way to start the week.
Yeah. So
we just to remind everybody, this is our first time up on YouTube Live. So you can make sure you hit that subscribe button and then hit that little bell so you get notifications when we publish new stuff. So we published yesterday our first look at the Ghost 360, and also on Facebook, make sure you're hitting the like and follow button, seeing everything that we're putting out as far as the new stuff. And good news is, as goes with the Ghost 360, and I was talking about shallow water fishing down in Florida on the Kissimmee Chain specifically, that's exactly where we're going to be going here in a couple weeks. Taking George down there, I'm going to introduce him to some real fish and some real fishing. Not this Tideline cold water
that's
stuff.
where we find those 5-pound bass, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 pounds?
We're looking for 9s and 10s. Yeah.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
It's like grouper size bass.
Yeah.
Sometimes bigger at that point, yeah.
So that's going to be a good time. We're going out there with Skyline Marine, some really good friends of ours up in Wilkesboro, over on the west side of the state in North Carolina. They do a East Coast wide tournament, right? A tournament series, I should say. And their next tournament is down there on the Kissimmee Chain. They're staying down in Camp Mac. They just had one, I think, back in December. It was down in Gunnersville. I think they went to Cumberland. I'm not sure what the schedule was.
We'll be down there for a live video. We'll be down there Friday.
Yeah, we will. We're going to go live from Camp Mac.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today. We'll be doing live from Camp Mac. So, and we'll have Skyline Marine guys with us. We'll have T-Money, Trace, and Dollar with us. And it'll be good times. It'll be just like old times for Cross Industries. So, hopefully we get our good friend Nick to come up and see us from Sebring. So,
We for sure need to do this full service on your boat and everything before then.
Mike Hummel is on watching. He said 5 pounds is a shaker size.
well, hopefully 5 pounds is a small fish in the bag. So that's what we're looking for.
That's the smallest fish.
And then
Turn.
Justin Cratcher's on. Swimmers down there, laugh out loud.
Swimmers out, yeah. You can swim down there. You may not make it. There's dinosaurs. The coolest part about fishing down there on the Kissimmee Chain, right, is in the mornings, and you get up on, like, if you get up on the eastern shoreline of Kissimmee Lake, right at dawn, it literally sounds like Jurassic Park. There's so much wildlife out there just going nuts.
It's got to be beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. You got all these oak trees all over the place, Spanish moss hanging down. We're going to be in inches of water, right? I may even take off my active target because
That's right, because we saw, because in the shallower water.
Yeah, I already know it's not going to be
Yeah.
worthwhile. And to be honest with you, all it's going to be doing in all that Kissimmee grass that we're going to be up in, we're looking for betters. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. It's just going to accumulate grass. It's it's phenomenal up here. I love it up here because I'm looking at balls of bait moving around, fish moving in and out of the balls of bait. I can watch my jerk bait work around bait and all that other stuff. It's really cool. It's gonna that Ghost 360 is actually going to do me more good down there than the active target will. So, another tool in the toolbox. The cool part about the Ghost 360, all right? So we'll get into that.
Scott can't. He's on right now, but he can't stay. He's got a metal to grind.
Yeah, well, yeah. Scott, just turn it up while you're grinding that metal. It's cool.
Headphones.
Yeah, you got headphones. Scott's out there building a motor. If you're in Santa Rosa area, make sure that if you need any motor work done, you're going to Scott's shop out there.
The pictures he has are amazing.
Oh, yeah. They build some racing motors. Oh, my God. They're not going to do well very long in California. They need to get out of there. I keep telling Scott.
Yeah, East Coast is ready.
No, Florida's ready. The free state of Florida.
No, free. Now you've got me interested.
Yeah.
Terry McCarris is on saying be on Kissimmee tomorrow.
Well, Terry, I'm going to be obviously calling you soon, just to just get some info from you. So, and of course, we're going to link up with Terry down there. Terry's a really good friend. He's been he's been like family down there. Very much so. I couldn't ask for a better friend than Terry and his wife. They're just awesome.
Joe O'Connell was on and he was asking why not me when you're talking about meeting up, possibly getting Nick.
Well, Joe, you're in Atlanta. If you're going to be down there in Kissimmee, then by all means, bring the Ronald McDonald boat down if you haven't sold it yet, and then we'll be all over each other. Joe O'Connell, he is the owner of ProTech products. The boat products that I use to clean my boat.
Well, you have to link me up with them either way, then maybe we can.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Work them in storage.
Dude, his water spot remover. Oh my God.
Well, that's key. You work on we work on someone's boat, we clean it up afterward.
Yeah.
Water spots are like devil on a painted boat. On a sharp boat, they stand out.
Dude, like on your freaking cowling, right? That's where the water spots get worse, right? Especially with mercury with the black cowling.
Yeah.
It gets
especially with salt water too. You get that real.
That or Yamaha, you get it a little bit, but they got that blue. That blue helps out a lot, but it still gets bad, right? But on the black cowling of mercury, oh my God, you use his water spot remover, best on the market. Is that?
John Amos was saying have a good evening. He has to get ready for work.
All right, John, you be safe tonight. John Amos is one of our pro staff members, and he is one of our most loyal guys. I can't say enough good things about John Amos, and he's one of our men in blue out in Tennessee. Much respect for him. He was in the Air Force for a number of years, and now he's out in Tennessee.
Some of the people the name of John in the Air Force.
That's a good point. But so, John, as you get ready for work tonight, be safe. Know that we're all behind you. We back blue here at Cross Industries and Tideline. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back to the Ghost 360. So the cool thing about the Ghost 360 is that it's an upgrade to both your Ghost and your HTS Live, your HTS Carbon, or your Elite FS units, right? There's no hardware to buy, so you don't have to buy a 360 transducer to make it work or anything like that. Is it a little inconvenient because you have to use the whole trolling motor to do the 360? Yeah, it is.
But we were drifting too, though, and so controlled where we were in deeper water and using 360. If you know what you're doing, you're more than capable of managing it.
In rough water, it's going to suck.
Yeah, but it's going to suck either way. You're going to suck. That's going to be
rough water. You can't even use
active
target because the minute you put anchor lock on, it's useless.
Yeah.
But as far as the Ghost 360 goes, it's a little inconvenient for it to use the whole trolling motor like that. But to have that capability without having to spend any money that I it's already gear that I had on my boat already. For a software update to be able to do that, that's there's nothing better than that.
There's a lot of I think sometimes, especially customers I see, they're just not familiar with their gear, and that's where the issue comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because as soon as the update came out, you're like, we need to put the boat in the water. Like, we need to know how, you have to spend the time, like, we were changing the pallets control, and then you have to spend the time with the gear too, put in,
and
training.
Especially with any kind of side scan you got. Like, I took a customer out today, and I was teaching them how to use their Garmin unit. It was a low-end Garmin
It was
unit.
like a Striker.
Yeah, it was a Striker plus
$200.
Yeah, but it had Clearview, which is Garmin's version of down scan, right? And I'm sitting there teaching them what it meant for having the chirp and how to read a fish on chirp and all that other stuff, and then what Clearview did for them different than chirp, and how chirp was better for identifying fish than Clearview would be, so on and so forth. And then how to mess with the different settings on it to get it to actually give you that picture. Right. That makes a lot more sense, right? So having the certain palette had, in Garmin units, you have your different gains that you can have. In Lowrance units, the different name. That name is, you're looking at your different contrast levels. That's the same thing as gains in Garmin speak. So pretty much they all have the same.
It's the capability.
The same capability of settings. They name them different, but it's essentially the same stuff. I will tell you, on that Striker unit, I kept messing up because I kept trying to touch the screen.
Yeah, that's especially if you're used to a bigger unit. In my ocean boat, I originally had just a touchscreen Simrad in it.
Right.
And I hit the silly little, night button, but it's something like blacked out so I'm in the middle of the ocean, can't see anything, and it's only touchscreen, right? Now my hands are wet, and so then I bought another unit that was both, so that like when all else failed, when your fingers get wet, you can, because it'll get you, because if you go back and forth. Yeah.
And that's what I love about the HCS Lives, is I have that whole set of soft keys on the right hand side, so I can do all that. And
without that, it could get sticky or slippery, I guess.
Yeah, that's what she said. I'm getting an eye roll from the lady of the house over there.
Marine Corps.
So that's it. This is actually my first full week working here at Tideline. George had some fun for me this week. I come in on Tuesday.
A wise man once told me I don't gamble because every day owning a boat business is like gambling, and there's never a boring day in the boat business.
This is true. You never know what you're going to do.
Like, you could have a plan. That was the hardest thing for me to adjust to when I came into this industry, is that it's very difficult to plan just by virtue of the diversity of what can happen. You could do a trolling motor today, rebuild a motor tomorrow, put a GPS on the next day, and then sell 3 motors in between. And so you have to be, and I think that's what makes the fishing community, the angling community, even though there's disagreements between, take it charter, recreational, commercial, but we're so diverse, and when we work together, it's an amazing group, because it's so difficult and so huge that if you don't think of, no matter what type of fisherman you are, if someone gets stranded at sea, everyone comes together. It doesn't matter who you are, everyone works together. So, just because the community is so diverse, and so that's why it's such an experience working.
And well, everybody out of water. Was I talking to you about this? I think I was. We were talking about looking for Nick.
It was when we either test. It was when we were going out to do the 360.
Yeah.
Because we talked about our channel coming in out of there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So, we were talking looking for Nick down in Okeechobee during that tragedy down on during the Costa. What was that? I think it was the spring of it was January 2018, 4 years ago. And man, people came out of the woodwork going up to Okeechobee looking for him. And I know I took a day off of work. I literally walked in and said, "Hey, there's a dude missing. I'm going to go help look for him." And, when I was working, the reason why I was down in Florida is I worked for Special Operations Command South down in Miami. So when I was working for Special Operations, I said somebody was missing. I'm going to go look for him. They didn't care. They were like,
Can we help?
"Yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah.
Right. In fact, I was working on getting the SEALs to help out and get them up there. And they got some of the FBI guys to help out as well. Then when we were looking for him, we had people jumping out of the woodwork. I mean, Steve Dow showed up from Bruiser Baits. He was all over the place looking for him. I had Yon Alvarez was on my boat looking for him. If you remember the video that I took talking about how bad the wind was, and I had waves coming over the bow of my boat while Yon was up there, holding on to my old Minn Kota that I had. He actually tore the sheath that was going around the cords on my stuff because he was holding on to it. No big deal. Who cares, right? That we're looking for somebody missing and tore some stuff. Actually, the best part about that is a lot of my stuff, as far as my Yamaha, came loose that day, right? And Ramon Iglesias, he took care of me because my mounting brackets and all that shit came loose.
Oh, you're talking the entirety of the rig.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what I ended up doing, he met us down there at the ramp at where were we? We were at, I think it was Uncle Joe's. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. We were at Slim's. Or was it Slim's fish camp? And at Slim's, he met up with everybody and had coffee and donuts and all that stuff, waiting for people to go out, which was awesome for Ramon. If you know Raymond, he's just that kind of person. He's the general manager over there at Roland and Marianne's. Literally the best place to stay on the lake. If you're going down to Okeechobee and you need a place to stay at Okeechobee, Roland and Marianne's, that is awesome. The most badass tiki bar right on the water. And their gator tail is freaking phenomenal.
See, that's what I wish that I could do, like behind Tideline.
Right.
Imagine like that old ramp, like building like a big patio out back.
I would love that, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So you can, because there's a garage door. Someday I'll have to.
You want to talk about somebody doing it right? Roland and Marianne's is doing it right, and 100% of that goes to the way Raymond is running the place. And if anybody's watching from South Florida, I know you're going to agree with me.
Yeah. He's general manager. You said that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's who
you
does.
find a good general, like John. You find a good one. You just have to figure out how to keep them because they're going to make.
Right. Well, and now he's county commissioner down there.
You know what? Because he sees the value in the community. That's why he's good at what he does.
Right.
He sees the value
Precisely.
working together and making a team.
So anyway, he took care of me. He called over to the shop over there, Roland and Marianne's, and he who was I think it was Tim that was working there at the time. I just told him, hey, take care of the boat. Don't worry about anything else. Don't put a work order in. Don't do anything. Just take care of it. Because it got messed up when I was looking for missing anchor. So I mean, that's talking about how community comes together, and that's a lot of people like up here don't understand. Okeechobee is an ocean.
It's like I envision it kind of like when I say the Great Lakes. A lake where when you go in, you don't see like you can't see land, and you
get in the middle of Okeechobee.
It's worse than traversing the ocean because I can navigate the harsher waters easier because the wind is blowing from the south. I'm driving to the north. I can adjust rather than having waves coming in every direction across in a lake where that happens.
We also got to imagine. So what makes Okeechobee worse than the Great Lakes, right, is at its deepest, it's 15 feet in the middle.
It's like you're inlet. You just don't know where you're going to hit something either.
Right. Well, there's that. And so that water, the entirety of it will move, right? So there will be a wind tide on Okeechobee. If you get a really strong south wind, the water's going up on the north end, right? If you get a really strong north wind, water's going up on the south end, and it's coming down on the north end, right? I've seen pictures of people with bay boats, and they're sitting in the sand, surrounded by gators, because the wind blew out on them.
It's like in the Fresh World Series, Louisiana, they're supposed to get airboats pulling people out because wind shifted and water leaves and high and dry. Literally.
Same exact thing.
And that's a very dangerous predicament. Like you said, I mean, you know how you're going to be there.
And you're surrounded by gators.
Yeah.
Right? And Okeechobee's got some big, I've seen some big ones there.
Hi, Miss Corey. How are you? So Corey Cadman, who Alicia said hi. So she's our right-hand lady at Mercury. So she works at Mercury Marine.
Oh,
and is one of the people that actually. So I don't know how long Miss Corey's been working, but Chaz is one of the Skills Bridge active duty service members we have at Tideline. And I was on the phone with Mercury Marine today discussing the program too. So hello, Miss Corey. How are you? Hopefully all's well.
Hello.
We're waiting for my daughter to talk.
Yeah, she wanted to say hi.
She got shy.
Yeah.
Well, hello to the Corsons. They have a boat and slip out back. I think they took it out for the winter. Oh, and my mother. Hello, mother.
Oh. So there's that. Yeah. So I mean, it's all the community, right? And this is the coolest community ever, because at the end of the day, all we're here is to run around on boats, have the most freedom possible, and at the end of the day, let's have some drinks, have a good time.
And no one minds reeling in a fish at the end of the day either, though.
Well, if you're not reeling in a fish, then what are you doing?
I don't know, because I never like catch, so.
Huh?
Except, well, not when we fish. I don't do much catching.
Yeah, we're going to fix that.
I was like, well, Florida's the game changer. Maybe.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
So this week in work, I mean, some of the projects that we did. So I come into work on Tuesday, right? And as I'm leaving, George had an appointment he had to get out to. So I'm coming in as George's leaving out. And we pass some trucks, roll down the windows. Hey, you want to put a radio on a boat? That's it. That's an easy job. Okay, let's do this.
Follow-on questions.
Yeah. I didn't ask him. All right, I'll put a radio on a boat. So I wanted to go put a radio on a boat. What George did not tell me.
It was a repower boat.
It was a repower boat, and I had to redo the electronics under the dash and all the way back to the power source for the entirety of the dash, and reinstall the speedo, tack, and everything else.
Brand new by Mercury Marine. Yeah. And the brand new Mercury 75 in the back of it.
Yeah,
in case Corey's still watching.
Yep. So I had to put in all of that with the request to put in a radio. George.
So what had happened was, for those of you that have owned older boats, boat manufacturers, when they wire a boat, would use a universal harness. Those that you've seen before, it's the giant white plugs that never come apart, and they do, every wire comes out of it. And so that was because back in the day, I would sell, not be like a business would sell, let's say, Sunbird boats, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That wiring harness, ended up wired into they'd use an aftermarket gate, everything, so they could use any motor, just ding, 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 ding. Technology progresses, and so over the course of, I think that boat was like a 94 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But over the course of time, every time something's added in, people don't take out the old. So by the time you get to a place like Tideline or Chaz, you go on Chaz dealership someday, we take pride in the craftsmanship. So before we can even start the good stuff, which, is Chaz's experience, you got to get rid of the old. Otherwise, because what happens is the customer buys a new motor from me and I install it, and he wants a radio put in. If it doesn't everything look neat and presentable, when someone's like, oh, nice new motor, but who the hell did, and then pick something that doesn't look good, they're going to assume that the same company. So
it's supposed to be
so
like an hour and a half underneath the dashboard. I spent 8 hours under that Sunday.
Yep.
Heard you said hi. Tony Crab is watching, and Miss Corey is still watching.
Hi, Miss Corey. Hello, Tony and Brittany. We miss you here. Make sure you stop by and say hi to us. We talked about both of you today, believe it or not.
I still talk like a jarhead, so I'm sorry for younger ears.
That's why people love us.
I know.
And Miss Corey, someday we'll have to talk on the phone about Mr. Chaz too, because like I said, he does have the desire to open up a dealership in Florida. So what's that? Yeah. I'll take a look. So we're working on, when we go to Florida to fish this bass river, we're also going to be looking at dealerships that are for sale and opportunities down there. Become a Mercury dealer, buy a pre-existing Mercury dealership. So we have a lot of things in the works.
Yep. Amongst other things I need to talk to Mercury about. Amongst other things.
So Miss Corey, you will hear from us, ma'am. Or you can visit us in Florida. I think Mercury should come hang out with us at the tournament anyway.
Well, I think we need to go to Lake X anyway, but that's a different story. Because I run a Bass Cat, and I know you run most of your new boaters on Bass Cats at Lake X. And I know where Lake X is anyway. But
Good times. Maybe we'll get a big boat out of it from Bass Cat.
dude, if they got back to doing Bass Cat, Rick, if you see this at any point in time, please.
I will buy all of them someday when I figure out how. But if they ride anything like a bass boat, then in my market, that would be one incredible machine because Bass Cat makes an amazing hull, and there's no denying that. And it performs. And there's other, Chaz has Bass Cat, but there's other Bass Cats that I've seen on the water. I've seen some with Mercs and some with Yamaha, and there's not one complaint from that hull. No one has one.
No.
Not at all. It's an amazing hull.
Yeah, dude. The only complaint anybody ever has is that sometimes it might overperform.
Well, I mean, we were going 70 miles an hour and it was 60.
No. Here's the thing, right? The last time we ran down to Southwest Creek.
I say, well, we did that in 100 yards. Like we ran out of room before we opened it up.
Yeah, in 100 yards we were going to 69.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless with a 250 show, probably like 3/8 of a tank of gas on one side, full tournament load of tackle.
A lot of gear. Next we fished when we were on the like you're on there.
And 2 dudes. So, I mean, the only thing that we're missing was a heavy load of gas.
And about 30 gallons in the bait tank potentially of water, if that. How big is a bait tank?
They don't advertise that actually, which is funny. So I don't actually know, right?
Enough to fit the winning tournament fish in there. That's how big.
Right. And it's funny because Rick will tell you why he doesn't advertise it because he.
What does it? But see, a lot of people ask questions like that. But what does it actually mean? Does it make a difference if it's 27 or 28 gallons to you? I mean, to an angler, it may. I mean, that's just.
Well, it can, right? Because how much oxygen the fish consume and so on and so forth. But then all you have to do is recirculate it properly. And,
you put bubblers. And...
Yeah, right. But Rick won't advertise how much the bait tanks hold because other brands do, right? And they'll say they hold 25 gallons, 30 gallons, so on and so forth. And his next question is the most brilliant question I ever asked. If you cut a 55-gallon drum in half, does that match? Most of the time it's no.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
So they're lying. Right? So what I can tell you is the shape of my live ones, right? They're weird, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So number one, they have a triangle top. That triangle top actually stops the fish from being able to jump out.
I wonder if that comes off of their old bay boat concepts too, to where because that becomes important in running Menhaden.
No, they don't give a shit about that. It's all about bass jumping out. Right. I can show you
that's
YouTube videos of bass jumping out at the wait.
George Evans is watching. Says, "What's up?"
What's up, George? Dude, okay, George asked me a question. I totally forgot to ask you about it. So, a used prop for a Yamaha 250.
What pitch?
What
pitch
pitch?
you looking for?
We're probably looking for a 25. It's 250 show. It's going on a 21 foot skeeter.
I'll have to take a look to see if I have one of the ever interchangeable hubs. I know I've got some Rev 4 4-blade wheels that are that big, and we may have a used Merc. Not a used Yamaha, maybe Merc or VRP though. I'll take a look.
Merc what?
I'm gonna have to look. You know,
If it's a Fury.
no. I would put that on the table already. We get some speed out of that guy.
Yeah, I know.
That's a 25.
Yeah, so it is 25. Yeah.
Take a look, see. We'll get back to you.
The show loves a Fury, right?
Yeah.
It really likes the Ballistic XL. Unfortunately, we don't have a 25 in the Ballistic XL because it, for the 3 blades, it only does even numbers. And I would not put a 4-blade Ballistic XL on that boat because it would be too much prop for that.
Yeah.
So.
It will take a look, see.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
George.
So, anyway, George, another one of our awesome dudes. He joined us at Crossbone Outfitters 4 years ago, before we even Cross the Industries was a thing.
Before that.
That's like the start then.
Yeah. He's been here. He's been with us since the beginning. And, let's see.
You even came out to that show.
Yeah, well, George came out to the show. John Amos came out to the show. David Haft, who's not with us anymore, came out to the show. And the reason David Haft isn't with us anymore is he took over the pro staff for somebody else, and it just ate up all of his time.
Yeah.
Right. David Haft, he retired from the Air Force when he was with us.
Okay.
Really good dude.
Surprised today's that job.
Right.
Is he hiding on us? Is he still working?
So John's a little pissed at me because the 75 4-stroke was making some weird noises in my mind. And apparently, it was some resonation at 12 to 1800 horsepower. I don't know.
Let's bring this full circle.
I don't know anything about a 75 horsepower motor because it's a baby motor.
It's too small.
And not to mention, like when I drive my boat, I have 2 speeds. I have side scan and I have wide open throttle.
That's wake zone and go.
Pretty much. I mean, if we're not going like trying to break 80, so breaking the sound barrier, or we're not trying to look at rocks, why do we have the big motor on?
We don't. We should be fishing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there is.
But
But
those are the only
the
2
funny
reasons.
part of that is one of the biggest issues we see with new motors. And I wish John was here to talk about this. I feel bad. That's the downside of being a general manager. Is there's a pretty big trout tournament in North Carolina tomorrow, and
We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the local charter captains who's riding a Merc 300 racing, or is it a 350? I can't remember. I think
It's a 300.
Went to a dealership that didn't necessarily know what they were doing and did some work to it and broke more of his motor than was good. So
Well, let's just say that they found one tiny little screw to be not too important that the rest of the motor had different opinions on.
but fortunately enough, when the angler came in, right, I put a warranty claim in, called Mercury Marine, and we'll get it to you as soon as we need it. So it's nice to see that there are still some manufacturers that appreciate
And it's a
businesses,
2022
right,
motor too.
because the concept is right. Like it doesn't matter that. I mean, I don't know where the motor actually came from, or where it was bought from. The importance
Who
is
gives a
again,
shit?
right, like the community, because you never know when we're gonna have to work together to take care of something.
Right.
And so he's been outside dealing with that. But anyway, so new motors and wake zone speed and get to the fish. So when we're running motors and we're idle and we're at lower RPMs, we're not combusting fuel efficiently.
Right.
You know, it's a dirtier burn, so you get dirtier spark plugs, less fuel efficiency, and it does damage on a newer motor. So when we look at an engine profile, we actually want to see it in the higher rev profile the majority of the time because that means we're burning carbon and keeping it clean.
Well, you
burning.
should look at my computer.
Well, I have before. It's wake, speed, and go.
George says that we don't use the small stuff, and then Mike Hummel said side scan and wide open. That's a bass cat.
Right there.
So
So Mike Hummel runs a. You still run that Jaguar, Mike? Let me know. But so
yeah,
if he runs a Jaguar, it's bigger than that bay boat that's out there. Oh my God, the Jaguar is fucking aircraft carrier, right?
really.
If you put a 300R in it, you put a 300R on it, it will be an 80-mile-an-hour boat. You can, well, excuse me, 300 will make a Jag roughly about the same speed as my boat, right?
Mm.
Because it's big and it's wide.
Is it like heavier, like a Ranger, or
It was just big,
yeah,
right? It's just a big
big
platform.
beam too. And everything.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, he's still running it. Alan Breacher's watching, and George said that's how I am. I just punch it.
So
and I bet you no motor problems.
I don't have any motor problems.
Yeah, well, do what you're supposed to do with it.
The only motor problem I had is my overhead cams got loose at one point in time, and it started eating my belts, and it started
Yeah.
sucking in the belts into the air intake.
I had that happen on an older Optimax.
Yeah.
Got loose, you know, just a little bit of time, and then the next thing you have melted belt shreds all over the place. That's a pain in the butt.
But anyway, so when Rick Pierce builds his own personal Jag that he's going to use for demos and stuff, he puts a 400R on it, right? A big ass 400R. I mean, it's a $150,000 boat at that point because the motor itself is like 90. Right. And oh my God, that boat is an 85-mile-an-hour boat.
How's it handle? Does it drive or does it make you drive it?
I'm assuming it's a lot like mine. So mine,
Yeah, so you talk about, but
Yeah.
me and, you know, I didn't understand it until I drove Chaz's boat because I'd driven 75, 60 to 80-mile-an-hour boats before. You get that chine and you really past 50 in a lot of boats have to, you know, manage the wheel because of the walk, where in your boat it's.
when you drive a bass cat, you can literally let go of the wheel, point it into the wind, and you can drive it up to 75 miles an hour.
It's
Without
60, I
touching
was
the
doing that, yeah.
In fact, I had TJ locked us up on the boat with me, and we were crossing Okeechobee. We were going from Uncle Joe's Cut, and we were going all the way over to Moorhaven. And there was a slight chop on Okeechobee that day. It wasn't bad, and that's the only reason I was going to cross it. If there's anything more than like a 5-mile-an-hour wind, you do not cross Okeechobee, especially in a bass boat.
Huh.
Yeah, unless
Is it
you
'cause
like
of-
have a death
yeah.
wish. I mean, unless you want
It's a
it.
straight washing machine
Yeah.
at that point, yeah.
So we're going across, and there's about 2 to 3 footers going across it. Not bad, right? Bad for some other boats, but in mine,
Yeah, but it seems like yours is almost like one of our pro staffers that we did the 300-hour service on Alan Jernigan. He's a Mercury pro staffer,
Yeah.
where he has a tunnel hull. So if there's not a little bit of chop, it actually is a more uncomfortable. Like it likes a little bit, like it likes to eat.
mine does. Mine,
You know, and I feel like
mine
yours
likes that
like-
little washboard chop.
Yeah, because it seems like it almost makes that dead rise really eat it and do what it's supposed to do when it's performing. Yeah.
But
What's that, baby?
anyway, that was the first time that TJ was on a bass cat, right? It was a summertime tournament, and we're going across. We're going like 74 miles an hour across these 2 to 3 foot chops, and I'm just looking at him. I have my hands up on my chest,
Oh, that's what you did to me. Like, look how easy this is to drive.
and we're at 74 miles an hour. I'm like, well, we're good. He's like, how fast are we going? It's like, look. So, what's up? What do we got?
Mark Birmingham is watching.
Oh, Mr. Marky Mark. Mr. Birmingham does Taekwondo with me, so he's an Irishman.
Oh, Taekwondo sounds like okay, here's a question. All right, dude. I have a real question for you. All right. You got medically retired from the Marine Corps for like back issues.
That's
and
right.
stuff.
I love this question.
How do you do Taekwondo?
For some strange reason, so for Taekwondo is for life, right? So
Right.
I mean, so I went to Brazil after being medically retired.
I remember that.
Right?
I remember seeing that. I was like, how did I?
What you didn't see is the 12 hours leading up to my fight. Me on the phone with my instructor in the U.S. going, I don't know how to do this. I can barely walk.
Yeah.
And after my fight, my wife carried me off the mat. But sometimes when you have a job, you have to
She's
do
not
your
very
job.
big. She can't
No.
carry a whole lot.
No.
That's
But I-
not true. I carry big
Right.
things.
But no different than the Marine Corps, or like if an angler has an issue, doesn't matter if you're tired, right? Like you've got a job to do, so you're going to do it. But but that's my stubborn personality. At the end of the day, Taekwondo is for life, so you know your limitations.
It's like when I was teaching Sean how to do that power pole, and I had to do that contortionist bullshit, trying to get into that.
In the console.
No, I was trying to
Bring
get
it back.
into the back of it because, okay, you have this 5-gallon bucket hole underneath the seat. And that's the only access hole you got to get underneath over here to where I got to mount this
And it's
freaking
this
power
much further
pole.
than your arm can reach, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And I got to mount it back here. And, by the way, there's a battery in the way. That we could shift out of the way. Okay, that was fine, right? But I still had to mount it behind that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm reaching back there trying to mount this power pole motor and all this other stuff. Contortionist bullshit, right? I do all of that, get everything done, clean up the tools, take them back, put them away, and all this other stuff. As soon as I get done with that, sit down in the office, I'm done. My whole body was like,
That's right.
My hip was done.
You get that like on a day of fishing too.
Yeah.
But the funny part is,
when I'm doing the job, I had no complaints, no nothing. I'm doing it. As soon as I'm done doing the job, the world is the worst place in the world.
oh, so funny. So that was Ethan Starzinski's, but we did that too. So, and he fished.
He better enjoy that because I worked my ass out for
So
that.
not only, so actually, funny enough, so he works for a lot of big impact companies and goes to trade shows and stuff. And he had interest in another power pole. So I was like, well,
He needs to put a Sea
He
Monster
got
2 head on
he
the
got
other one.
approved for the Power Pole Pro Staff program. Today we're going to order him the second Power Pole to match the one we put on.
Okay, he can put that motherfucker on.
Yep.
Yeah. He can do it.
He's an electrician, right? So why not?
Right.
He's probably got better heat shrink anyway.
I don't know. I'm pretty good at that.
Those are quality wise. Of the heat shrink itself.
You got to admit, I do quality electronic work.
Yeah. That's why I should install the radio.
I know. I know. Even John was saying that. You're the one here I really trust to go back and trace.
Oh,
patterns.
so Chaz was working on this boat, and we put a new GPS on it. And the funny part, so I have another guy that's coming through the Skills Bridge program helped me with the other part. So we're moving the transducer on the back of the boat, and transducer placement is actually important, right? Like a lot of people don't appreciate that, but where his was hitting the trailer bunks. And when I saw
checked up,
so when I saw Chaz put it on, he had moved it and put it in a place so where it wouldn't interfere with the trailer in the boat. And I'm gonna go, did you decide to do that? Because most people don't think, but but that's how good he is already. And that's what the great thing about the Skills Bridge program is trying to put quality.
I'm gonna be honest,
into
that's not Skillverse and had nothing to do with it.
No, but you have gear that you use and appreciate. So a lot of people don't understand their gear, and so they don't respect it. It's funny, So,
But then again, so I mean, this is how I am working here on your customer stuff and all this other stuff. This is how I'm always going to be with my customer stuff. Is like even when I was out with those guys today, and I heard that weird ass noise coming from that motor. Apparently, it was some kind of resonance thing on the 75 horsepower that I'm not used to hearing because I idle and wide open throttle. I don't do this half-ass shit.
it was probably the IF valve sucking air.
It's actually exactly what it sounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's if you don't know what that is, it sounds like the world's ending.
Yeah.
Because the mercury motors are so quiet, the smaller ones, that you hear the telltale water hitting, and that's it.
Because honestly, with those, I didn't know I was in gear sometimes.
Yeah.
I would jerk it forward to think
It's awkward.
that
It's
I was
the
going to
first,
pop it
yeah.
into gear.
Yeah.
And I was already in gear. So the whole boat was like, whoa. I was like, oh shit. It's a terrible boat, by the way. Anyway.
Short and fat.
Yeah, short and fat, and I hated that boat. But point being is, like, whenever I'm doing this stuff, I'm looking at it like, what would I do on my boat?
What you just said, and if I were to get John to come up here and I were to make the statement, he'd say, he said, well, what do I do when I say, treat it like it's your boat and you're taking your family on it?
Right.
Is that good enough for you? And if it is, then we did the right thing. And if it's not, then we need to do right, regardless of it. It's almost as if, even if they're not paying for it, because the problem is,
You need to turn off your notifications
yeah,
when we do this.
I just leave the phone over there.
Fail. Yeah.
Less than 80%.
Yeah. Well, see, if I was instructing him again, he would be failing again.
And you only get 2 of those, so then you go home.
Yeah.
Not anymore, I don't think. Is it the same way now?
No, they're a bunch of pussies.
All that undue stress for nothing. I can't say anything.
You
because
should have
look-
seen it when I was.
Look at the quality
They
of
could
work
have
we
dropped us
performed.
if they didn't like us. When I went through.
When I was the recruiting chief, when you went back down to Miami after the last deployment we worked on, and I came back recruiting, that was an issue we had because someone would drop below the required percent, but you couldn't get rid of them. It's kind of like if someone works in your shop, if they forget to put oil in someone's motor and blow it up, like that's a big deal.
Dude, I
That's
totally
never
thought,
happened here, just so you know. But
I totally thought coming back in that somebody forgot to put oil in the lower unit. That's what it sounded like to me.
poorly made aftermarket props are not balanced, and that's what you hear like a ding, ding, ding because it's. That wouldn't do it, but especially in a stainless, because the prop's spinning faster than the prop shaft, but it's clanging and it sounds like the gear case is blowing up. I thought I blew a gear case the first time I put a cheap aftermarket prop on. Like I'll never do that again. Yep.
George is asking, so are you going to have a staff for Tideline?
So
You should. I should
Yeah.
teach you about that.
yeah, we can talk offline. So we do motor programs. So everything is networking and learning something. So Chad was
George.
learning about the management side of it, but but I'm also learning from him the angling side of it, if that makes sense, and how that circuit works.
George, to answer your question, George, right? What we'll do, right, is Geo. That's so I can distinguish between the two of you.
1 minute.
No,
ahead.
Hold on.
Hold on.
John, you Air Force fuck, you stay out there.
Roger that.
So George, Geo, what I'm gonna do with him in Tideline is for the Mercury staffs, for the power pole stuff, and all that. I'm gonna take all the cross guys, and I'm gonna send them over to Tideline for that. Okay, and that will make sure that we take care of you guys for that stuff. Especially guys like you, George, who have been the most loyal and most appreciated. I can't tell the world how much I appreciate George.
It's kind of young.
And honestly, George, move to Florida with us. And I ain't joking.
Stop dealing with that cold.
I need a good wrench and somebody I can trust who's loyal. And that's you 100% in a nutshell. So, whatever it's got to take.
AKA Chair Force.
So
Okay, John,
we met another John from the Air Force today, John.
Yeah, we did. We
Chair
met John
Force.
Airport.
Chair, yeah.
Yeah.
So did I tell someone I met John last week? I told him 90 seconds or less.
90 seconds or less. And so, Johnny Boy's
Do you
here.
want ice?
John's mad at me
John?
because I heard a weird noise
Do you
coming
want
out of the
ice?
motor today, and I said it in front of the customers. But you know what? I'm going to tell the customers exactly what I think when I think it, because that's who I am. And John can fuck off if
That's
he
right.
doesn't like that.
That's right. Always. We're always upfront with everything.
Yeah.
We'll be honest with you, and we're
And
going
then
to call
he
it
will
if it's
also
wrong.
tell them that I don't know shit
I
about the
will.
75 motor.
I will. So
John
it is
is
I
what
don't
it
like
is.
the motor.
He turns the happy to glad and smooths it for all the shenanigans that I ensued. That's why I don't know how to repay.
That's one way to put it. You don't have to. You do fine.
You know what? So when all of this moves down to Florida to start our giant, like, world takeover machine,
Is that
you need to come.
As long as you bring the pool table, baby.
Heck yeah.
Yep. See, pirate rules.
Technically, the code of pirates is right there, and we're going to follow that to the T.
To the T. Hey, just anybody fishing in the tournament tomorrow, good luck. Good luck to everybody. Be safe out there.
What a great segue.
Dress warm. Dress warm. That's all I can say.
So
In North Carolina, dress warm. So all of my dudes in Florida who are fishing a tournament tomorrow,
You lucky sons
Good
of
luck.
guns.
have fun and enjoy your flip flops.
Enjoy the flip flops.
well, those of us
That's
here
it.
fishing the River Rumble here with Mr. Mattis, it's going to be what, like 22 degrees in the morning or something like
think
that.
so.
The river, did you say Mr. Mattis?
Mr.
Mike
Max.
Mattis, yeah, it's going to be huge. We'll have to have him on something. He hosts all of our tournaments at Feed in the
Is that the
Rest
dude
World
I fixed
Series.
his Ranger trailer
Yes.
today?
He's a Ranger guy, almost like you bass boat guys, where the truck's got to match the trailer.
He uses the term fixed loosely. I had to help him along the way, and that's fine. I'm not. No big deal. I appreciate you. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow. I'm out of here.
Mike Hummel says George wouldn't know what to do with a big bass over 4 or 5 pounds. He's
Oh,
a cookie cutter up north. Sorry, George. LOL.
I can't catch a fish.
that George
I mean-
or George Evans?
George Evans.
Oh, good, because I was like, 'cause if I were to catch a 4-pound bass, I'd be like, do I have a group around the line or something? What the hell is this thing?
George
Oh, dude.
responded, I can handle those big fish. We're used to the big smallies.
No, I've seen George handle the big fish. But the problem is, like, when George is on the Kissimmee chain, he doesn't understand that just because you see water touch the shoreline doesn't mean that there's water underneath the top of the water. He loves to find those
Sandbars.
sandbars.
He's fitting good in North Carolina then, because we rail sandbars all the time.
Oh.
Because unfortunately,
He wouldn't have any fiberglass left.
no, we don't manage our inlets properly here in North Carolina. So they shift, and so we sink ships.
Yeah.
We're North Carolina, we sink ships. What's up?
George likes sandbars.
He loves it.
No, come on out.
He loves it.
I'll find you if you
I don't-
we'll go together.
Does George have it, or does what's his name have it? There's a video out there of me pulling George off a sandbar.
Oh, I don't know who has that.
We got to get the picture of John. He's got a picture of himself.
That's why I need a new prop.
I make some pretty good sales on props in this aluminum props in the summertime from people that need sandbars,
Mhm.
which is probably better that they have aluminum because otherwise they'd need gear cases. Maybe I should sell them stainless. No, just joke. No. If you like to run sandbars, do not put a stainless prop on if you like your gear case.
So
George.
What product placement are you doing today?
Do it.
What product placement are you doing today?
Oh snap! What are we
Us.
doing?
Us.
Cross industry. Oh,
Tideline.
I would say the Lowrance.
Yeah, I mean that was true, and you've got to check out the video that we made. If
Yeah.
If you haven't, and I have not done my.
I gotta apologize
Yeah.
for the video. I'm gonna say it out loud, and this might be kind of rude to
The
George.
camera guy wasn't good
The
enough. for
camera
channels.
guy was he sucked. If you watch the video, he gets kind of close. He cuts off half of the graph during it.
I didn't have the appropriate gear.
You didn't
Mercury
have the
Marine needs to buy me.
You
the
had a
appropriate
4K
gear.
camera in your hand.
I needed 7. 7 cameras. I could put them all over the boat, and then I could have fished too. Okay, I'll do better next time.
George says that he's
It's
he thinks
tough.
that Gary Menninger has it.
That's who took it. Yeah, Gary.
And that he wants to gain a couple more miles per hour.
I forget the name, and I'll have to look, and you may know off the top of your head. It's either Texas or New Orleans. There's a
George, if you want to gain a couple more miles an hour, what you need to do is we need to get you a Yamaha T2, and then we need to send it to
Prop Gods, isn't it?
no prop gods. Are you?
Or is that because there's a
Are
good
you
one and a
talking
bad
about like a? No, you need to.
That's what I'm saying. There's someone
You're
else
fired.
in that area that
You
does
are
rework.
fired.
Does that mean I get to move to Florida?
Huh?
Can I move to Florida now?
Yeah.
Okay. That was it.
No. God, now I can't remember the guy's name.
Not Top Gods.
No. You sent it to a dude. His name. But now I can't think of it.
I'll make a note.
Yeah. Gary, George, I will get you the name, but we need to get you a Yamaha T2, and we will. Bob Croxton, that's it. Bob Croxton, you tell him your hull, you tell him your motor, and you tell him what you want out of it. Boom. It's going to cost you about $300 or $400,
I mean, that's not bad.
but he'll do it. I need to send him my props, actually, but. He does a weird thing with his props, right? So he puts, like, on the bite end, right?
Mm-hmm.
He puts this real rough spot.
I wonder if it's a control slip.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? Because like
control
that,
slip.
because you got to
Like,
figure
you
that.
get like no slip out
You
of
know,
it.
like at that right there, that gives you a little bit extra bite.
The problem I ran into it with is I had way too much bow lift. Like my bow lift was
It's
insane.
like shoot.
Right? Well, a bass cat doesn't like a whole lot of trim anyway. Right?
No, because you always yell at me like, "Why'd you trim it up so much?" I'm
Right.
like, no, put it
It
down.
wants to run tight, right? So with a Bob Croxton prop and that rough spot, man, I almost run it down.
Huh.
George says that he has a T2 and he owns FX rods.
Then Bob Croxton is the wrong name. Mark Croxton is what I'm looking for. It's Croxton. My bad. But no, it's Mark Croxton down in Louisiana.
I've got to look up the name just so we can put it out loud. There is a guy in North Carolina that a lot of guys tried last year that ruined a lot of props. So I need to get his name just so that no one sent it to him.
Okay. Do that too.
Yeah.
So Mark Croxton. So Bob owns FX rods and he owns Powerhouse Lithium, right? And Powerhouse Lithium is the lithium batteries that we're about to take, inventory of at Croxton Industries. The unfortunate part is, I don't know if they have them in stock. Have we called Bob?
I have not called him yet. I'm
Okay.
going to call him next week.
So that is a total Bob Croxton thing for Powerhouse Lithium. So if you know the quality of FX rods, if you know the customer service at FX rods, which is phenomenal, then you know that Powerhouse Lithium is going to be outstanding. On the flip side, right? Mark Croxton, same name, no relation. Mark Croxton is in Louisiana. That's why I get those two confused all the time. But Mark Croxton props. He's the one that does props. I will send you his number.
Do they have a
send me text.
website we can pop up?
No, he
that
does
we
not.
we can at least put his name up on our.
Yeah, Mark
on our
Croxton.
Yeah.
He, dude, like in the bass cat world, everybody knows that name, Mark Croxton, right? They know that if you need prop work done, you go to Mark. So one of my favorite dealers. I've never bought a boat from him, so I've never gotten anything from him. He's just a really cool dude. I know a bunch of people who bought boats from him. He's up in Indiana, Sherm's Marine. And he's usually in the top 5 for bass cat dealers. Most of the time, number 1. But he's just a dude, man. He's
He's like a good dude.
He's like us.
You sit down and
We should have him on, right? But we should have.
we
Sherm.
can 3-way, can't we?
Yeah, we can.
Like we can put a thing up, a monitor in the back so we can see them, and we could like
Yeah.
3-way into
Yeah, we
whatever
should
we're
have Sherm
3-way
on.
into. Yeah.
So Sherm is the first one to come up with the mounting bracket for bass cat boats.
Really?
for graphs to put on mount basket boats back when Basket had that
Do you
mount
have one
on the
of those?
right hand side. No, I got Bass Boat Technology.
Okay, because I could remember because I really like your mount, by the way.
Yeah, Bass Boat Technologies is phenomenal. Folks like, bass boats, right?
Do we have our shorts, by the way, next month in Florida?
Huh?
Do we have our shorts next month?
No.
Maybe we have to look. It's not next month. It's next week.
We're going to fish all next week for fun now.
And then we're gonna have to go over to the place and talk to the guy.
Yeah.
So I'm still not telling you guys, which shop that we're looking at and all this other stuff. And then there's a lot of reason for that. So when a shop is up for sale, you're not gonna hear about it publicly.
Nobody knows. Some people don't know I own Tideline. They're like, because the people that have been coming for 20 years
Right.
trust you with their motors.
Mhm.
And it took a long time when I was working here to get people to even talk to me.
Right.
And it's
So-
not, it's a very delicate balance.
When people hear that a dealer and mechanic is selling, they end up, you lose customers that way.
For
A
sure.
lot, because it's trust. And in my thought process, and I've already talked to the owners of this other place, and it's like, look, at the end of the day, the mechanics are the ones that make the trust, because the mechanics are the guys that actually are the touch point with the boat and the touch point with the customer, right? Now, I can do great electronic work all day long, right? But when I'm running the show in the background, I'm not doing it, right? So it's the mechanics that we have to trust, right? So
Which
my
don't
first
exist in this industry generally. Like
Right.
they're very hard to find.
So my first question to him was, "You're going to keep your mechanic. Will I be able to keep the mechanics that are already on staff? Will they stick around?" He's like, "Yeah, they got nowhere else to go." Perfect. That's exactly what I want, because we'll bring in some
Skills bridge guys.
well, no.
That's how many more.
No, I'll bring in Skillbridge guys, probably from Tampa,
Yeah.
all day long. I have no problems with that. But or I'll bring them over from the Space Coast. What is that Air Force base over there? I can't think of it. But anyway, I have no problem bringing over Skillbridge guys. But the big thing is the mechanics, right? Are those the guys that can trust?
It is a continuity piece.
Right.
Because every year someone sees them touching their boat and trusts them to do. No different than everyone's got the place they bring their car. Like no matter who you are, eventually you settle down in life, wherever that is, and you've got like the guy you bring your car to, the guy you bring your.
Like here in Jacksonville, I take my car to what's that shop called?
It's like a tire. Or the Black
Tire
Tire.
Pros. Black's Tires.
Which we actually do business with. They sell. That's where one of our vendors we actually buy tires from because they understand the importance of networking. Yes, there's a.
Yeah, and Black's Tires does all the work on my truck. So, like when I get new tires and wheels in, for cross industry stuff and for the cross truck, that's where I take it. And they do the install, they do everything. Why? Because I trust them. I built a relationship with them when we first moved here, and they're really good dudes. And they will straight up tell me, okay, we can't work on this. We can work on this, but it's going to cost this much. They're going to be upfront and honest with you. And that's all you can ask for.
I need to set up like with them. I need an oil change.
She needs an oil change. Just so you know what's going on in the background, because she's whispering.
Every 100 hours. Oh, not in a boat.
Which reminds me, you owe me an oil change in my boat.
We have to do it next week.
Yeah, I know.
Like for sure.
We have to do it next week.
We might
gotta
as
do
well
some-
go through the whole. I mean, it's purge the steering, purge the steering. We might as well trailer work everything. It's a long.
Yeah, well, we need to go through the trailer with fine-tooth comb just to make sure it's going to make 1,000 miles trip.
A lot of people don't appreciate the importance of doing that too. We're sitting here talking about how we're going to go over everything before we travel to go to a tournament. But how many people? This is a general. This is what happens. I haven't started my boat in 2 years. It's not running. Of course it's not. It's important to run your stuff and maintain it.
Right.
Or it costs you more money in the long run. So the more you use it, the more you take care of it, the more efficient cost-wise it is for you.
Well, let's be frank. My sister lives about 5 minutes away from what lake is that? One of the lakes just north of Dallas in Texas, right? And she called me. She's like, "All right, I'm interested in buying a boat. What do you recommend?" I was like, "First off, how often do you plan on using it?" She's like, "Oh, maybe once a month, if that." I was like, "Don't buy a boat."
That's our topic for next week. Should you buy a boat? Right.
Right.
And
I was like, "Join a club."
what boat is right for you? Discuss the importance of knowing what you want before you buy a boat, so you don't not like what you get yourself
Right.
into.
But straight up recommended that they don't buy a boat because honestly, if you buy a boat and let it sit, it's going to cost you more money than it's worth.
And you're gonna dislike the entire process.
Right. Now, my boat, shit, I use it all the time. It makes sense for me to own a boat.
You're an angler. Everyone should own a boat though, and I'll gladly sell you one if you want one.
You're dead set on buying a boat. I'm not going to tell you no.
But we're gonna make sure it's the one you want and that you're gonna be able to use it to do what you want to do. That's the important key, which we'll talk about, in some week.
And he'll go over Lund and all that other stuff. He's a Lund dealer. I don't know anything about Lund. Jarrett Edwards, if you're on there, if you're watching this at all, hopefully you are. If you want to come on and talk about Lund, we're all about it. He's a dealer. And
I'll
he will
probably
help
learn
out
something.
right.
So yeah, I started dealing Lund as I took over, so I'm a new Lund dealer. Let's preface it with that. So
Not to mention Jarrett is one of the top guys for Lowrance on the West Coast. So, nicest guy in the world. Super nice guy. And one of our biggest advocates out there, he had this boat where it was signed by every veteran he took on his boat.
that is cool.
So it had signatures all over the damn thing. It was awesome.
That's a really cool concept. I may steal that. I'm writing that down because I think I want to steal that idea. I have to be on like maybe like a wall in Tideline, or you know what I'm saying, like
Dude,
the
something like
Tideline Wall of Heroes. You know what I mean? And
that. Yeah, dude, it's an awesome concept.
I have to steal that.
Right.
Thank you very much. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it the Tideline Wall of Heroes, and I'm gonna have a wall dedicated. I'd do that with. Okay, Elise, you got that?
Should do a big bulletin board.
She's over there taking notes and like being
Tideline Wall of
studious.
Heroes.
Veteran signatures.
So, I don't. Shit, that was a long time ago too. I don't know if he's done it recently. The Kramers would know. They're really good friends with him. Are they on?
Yeah, Christine Kramer is watching.
Yeah, Christine would know. Oh my gosh! Look what you did.
Got my way.
You suck at this,
To think, I used to get paid to take notes.
dude. I taught you how to take notes.
That's why you can't read this, but it makes sense.
What my idea of teaching people how to take notes is
Throwing pens in the ground.
you're lucky that she went and picked you up and you don't have a car to drive home.
You're the one that poured the second cup.
I did.
You taught me well.
See, what you do in our line of work is you pour big for them,
Little for you,
almost nothing for you.
and then throw it over your shoulder. You just gave the world my secret.
That ain't your secret. You do not do that.
No, I pour myself the most and don't give you any.
Right. I'm well aware. Look at that. That was up to here tonight.
I did pour the first cups, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Right. And I'm fine. You're not.
Yeah.
He's supposed to have been mixing yours, and he's been
Yeah.
going straight.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not my fault that you have like breathing fire.
Yeah. Maybe I should mix it. More cost effective either way.
It is.
Yeah, well.
It also tastes better.
Well, you got the diet, or not the cream soda Dr. Pepper, which is like the most amazing soda I've had in a long time. So,
It is.
I mean, that
It is.
which
But
we sell
we can't-
Tideline
we-
Green.
well-
As funny as that is.
We can't say that out loud because they don't pay us.
But you know what's funny? It's one of my Mercury Pro staffers, Hot Rod, as I like to call it. His wife's the one that sells us the product. So I used to always joke like, "Well, you don't buy more motors from me. You can tell your wife I'm not gonna buy any more, soda from her." So
Look,
doesn't work like that though.
yeah, the cost
Yeah.
slightly.
Unless he wants
A
a
little bit
9.9.
Unless you want a motor at, I don't know, 99 cents.
Well, I mean, I might have a few of those out back.
I've seen, yeah.
I've got a 99-cent boat.
Mm-hmm.
How
No,
many
it doesn't
holes are
float.
in it?
Huh?
How many holes are in it?
Yeah, it don't float.
Non-negotiable. A few electrolysis happened.
Yeah.
It ate the metal out of it.
So, all right, what's up next? What,
You're at over an hour.
I know we're over now. What questions we got? What's coming from you guys, either on YouTube or Facebook?
We got nothing on YouTube. No.
Well, it's our
We-
first time on
Yeah,
YouTube.
we
so-
answered a lot of it as we were going too.
Yeah, we did. So, I had a poll set up for Facebook for people to click on and all that other stuff. Can you see it, Ben?
On the poll?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Try to find it.
Hey.
Anyway, if you can see this, as you can hear, there's some parenting going on. in the
It's amazing. So people is a family-owned business. The children had a virtual day today because the children. So that's why I don't discipline. I just go straight to things.
Parenting, it's happening.
Yeah, there wasn't enough teachers in the school today, so we had to have virtual school.
Gary
Well-
just joined.
Hi, Gary.
If you want to ask him about that video of George.
Gary,
Evans.
I need that video of me pulling George off the sandbar at on Hashanah.
Can I beat our children?
No, you cannot beat your children.
We live in the South. Rule of thumb.
Should be real rich, shouldn't it?
You do it in the courthouse on Sunday mornings. I check with the sheriff.
Mike Hummel is asking, how soon will Cross have power poles up on the site?
As soon as we become an authorized dealer.
How many would you like? Of course, I don't think God knows. Shipping one of those must be astronomically priced because it costs me a lot of money to get them in. I can't imagine how much one power pole would cost to ship.
That depends, dude. Because
Well, it depends. Yeah, with shipping service and how much it uses
it
with
costs me
too.
$15 to ship a trolling motor.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm start buying my trolling motors.
Yeah. That's why, like, all my electronics across the industry, like all of them, Boat Electronics, free shipping. Because it only costs me $15.
Yeah.
So why am I going to charge the customer? They're already spending $3,000.
You sure?
Right.
Now, in your
So
website,
why
too,
the hell would I charge?
I can finance an electronic if I can't. Can I through
Yeah.
your website? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So we got 3 versions. So we got Affirm, we got Klarna, and we got Catapult. So to describe the 3 different versions, so Affirm is like a traditional type of loan, right? The difference is like when you apply to them, they don't use anything that's going to interfere with your credit report. So it's not a hard pull.
Mhm.
The problem with that not being a hard pull is they don't see everything, right? So they might not see everything. So because they don't see everything, you may not qualify
You
for the
might make the
0%.
good either on it at that point. Yeah.
You may not qualify for the 0%. So your percentage might not be great. So Klarna might turn out to be the better option. The difference between Klarna is a hard pull, right? So you will get a ding on your credit report for a pull from Klarna, right? But Klarna is different because it's a line of credit. So as soon as you pay it back, you still have that open line of credit with Klarna that you can come back and use that again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Catapult is something totally different. That's a reserve per se. And that is for the subprime members who either don't have established credit or they have, let's just say, bruised credit, right? And that is, they get denied by both Klarna and Affirm. They can use Catapult for certain amounts.
Yes, I heard that too.
Elise,
Someone's singing downstairs.
can we
What are the children doing? Are they singing? Are they in a concert?
can we work on the background noise, please?
At least put it in tune a little bit.
Serenity, can you get the kids to shush?
If they were sitting right there, we could throw things at them.
I totally would.
Me too.
Mike Hummel was saying that he's looking for brackets, 2 to be exact,
For
the power poles.
okay,
Can you message us what you're looking for?
Mike, just send me a text or message me. Let me know. And
Just start.
do what?
Started. Elijah just joined.
Elijah Buchanan.
Mhm.
That dude. So he runs a roofing business out in Ohio.
Too bad, not North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know if he's getting a whole lot of work right now. He's probably covered in snow, but they call themselves a roofing monkey.
That's
Right?
a catchy name.
Dude, it's awesome, right? So Elijah's a good dude. Awesome peeps. Love Elijah Buchanan. He's a freaking awesome guy. Great people.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
From Evans George. On my motor, when it warms up, I get a rubbing noise. To me, it sounds like a bearing on one of the belt tensioner. No one can find it.
Mercury or Yamaha?
It's a Yamaha show.
When's the
my
last time you
guess,
had it off there about changed?
my guess is that is one of the overhead cams.
That's
100%.
you had that problem.
Yeah.
And if a load gets loose or something, it's gonna.
Yeah, that sounds like exactly the same problem I had. Overhead cam.
Time to get him in the Merc Pro Staff program. Put him in Mercury.
He said Elijah Buchanan. He was asking him if he has the video from Florida pulling him off of the
Yeah.
sandbar.
He might have it too. He was on one of the boats.
Chad's asked that. If
Yeah, Elijah was there. So Elijah was there, George was there, and Gary was there. And they called me. I was out fishing a different part of Lake Hashtanaha, which you'll see in a couple weeks. So,
He respects the shit out of you.
Who?
Elijah Buchanan.
Thanks, bud. So,
All right, hopefully that's better.
so tie him up and throw him in the river.
I hope so. I mean, it's only up back. So the Northwest River is up back. If you watch the our first look at the Lowrance Ghost 360, literally, I put the boat in the ramp right there and waited for George to show up because he decides to leave the fucking shop.
No, that's when I go to the. No, that's not where I went.
No, you didn't go.
Anywhere.
I don't know where the hell you went, but you
I
went
just didn't show
somewhere.
up that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I came in, your boat was in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you come in late too, and I didn't show up yet.
Because I had an appointment myself. There was a VA thing.
RHP. That's why you were here. I don't have an excuse. What was I doing that day?
What have you been doing all week? Because you were gone for 4 hours a day.
Nothing. I have 2 active duty Marines here now.
It's not what we're here for.
Oh.
Anyway,
Corey just said hello.
Who?
Corey Kramer.
what's up, Corey? So, and Corey and Christine, they are a couple on my pro staff.
I was saying, is that what we talked about last week? The couple, the
Yeah.
angling couple? Yeah.
He runs basket. She runs a what's she run? She runs a oh my god, TBI's killing me right now. I'm thinking about it. These kind of boats have headlights.
Like headlights?
Yeah, it's cool.
Flatter Keegan?
No,
Or like straight headlights?
straight headlights, like molded into.
What?
Yeah, it's cool. Damn it.
It's not coming up here either. Can't.
I know. Christine, what kind of boat do you run? I can't think of it right now. And I'm like,
Allison.
there we go, Allison. They're built like a racing boat. I mean, that's a 90-mile-an-hour boat. You talk about fast boat. That's a fast boat. Like,
Huh.
they make a basket
Yeah, we'll
look
look at that
stupid.
later. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
neat.
That boat would make a basket look stupid. Yeah.
Even Mike Hummel.
Huh?
Mike Hummel even said Allison.
See, I knew what it was. It's got a star on the logo and all this stuff.
Let's look it up. That sounds pretty neat.
Oh, dude, they're cool. They're cool.
Corey said yes, it is very fast.
So, hey, Corey, what are you running this year? Ira or what?
George even likes the Allisons.
Better than bullet. So bullets are fast on calm water. Bullets are worse than your flat bottom Lund on rough water.
Hmm.
So if you have a 21-foot bullet, right, on flat water, it'll outrun a basket. If you have a 21-foot bullet on rough water,
Or did it chine out? Or this doesn't handle it?
what, on rough water?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't handle it.
Huh.
It has no V. So it can't rough water. It just says no. I mean, let me rephrase that. The boat can do rough water. The people riding in it cannot.
That's a true statement. Yeah.
Especially if you get like the slightest of back problems, you're done.
I
Nope.
haven't gotten anything. No.
Okay, I think he was running a Euro last year. He might be running the same boat this year. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah. So
Bellsmere is where it's at, Chels.
what's
You've
the
been
boat?
there?
The coolest place to launch a boat ever in the fucking California Delta? No, I'm sorry. I'm retarded. Fellsmere is in Florida. And dude, we do have to make a side trip over there. It's only gonna be like 45 minutes.
Corey Kramer said, I put gel in my seats for comfort. George said, don't ride with Gary Menninger in 5 to 7 foot swells.
I don't know if I would ride with Gary in flat water. Yeah.
I mean, 5 to 7 foot swells. I got a 30-foot boat. I'm not going in 5 to 7 foot swells.
Yeah, well, he's talking about Lake Erie.
I for sure would not go on Lake Erie at 5 to 7 foot swells because I am not confident enough lake for that big. That's a God bless you if you do that.
Those are all Ohio people. Remember when I said that Ohio people don't even like Ohio? That's how I know. It's because I talked to them.
Oh, Nelly.
They say anything of that. But yeah. And Gary, you need to move to Florida. I need a CPA.
Oh, he's a CPI.
Oh
He
yeah.
doesn't need to move. Can he do it in North Carolina work? I mean, we'll talk. Gary?
It was brutal. but
Gary,
had a
that's his
blast.
Oh, I'm still on CPA. Gary's a CPA.
Gary Manager. Good dude.
Never know when you need one of those guys.
Of course, it sounds like Lake Mead in August.
Yes. Yes. Especially when you got that north wind coming down in August. Oh my God. Yeah, Lake Mead. You know what Lake Mead is?
I've flown over it. That's my
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got Hoover Dam on the bottom, right next to Las Vegas. It's Boulder Canyon, okay? Boulder Canyon, right? So it should be a giant canyon, barely smaller than the Grand Canyon, right? So you get this north wind in the fall that is atrocious, and it's like
Oh, there's nothing to protect it either.
Right, it's
That
300
just
to
goes.
500 feet deep.
Holy Christ.
Right.
Wow. That's a deep lake.
Of course, he's been on 8-footers on Mead.
No, thank you.
That's a scary place when it goes bad.
The last time I took Randy up to Lake Powell, right after I came home from Afghanistan in 2008. Well, this is actually the spring of 2009, but what's this? When was this?
It was after 2009 because we went for
This was 2013, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, that's when I came home in 2013. Okay. Because we had both kids at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go up there, and I had my Pantera 4. It's a 19-foot bass cat, right? Still a great boat, phenomenal boat, right? Not the fastest of bass cats, right? The fastest I ever got that one up to was 69.7. I was pretty pissed about that. I never could break 70 for that.
That's a milestone for those that
Yeah.
want it. Yeah.
So anyway, we get out there, and so Lake Powell has these giant cruise boats that go around, right? And she and I are going from the hotel that we're staying at, and we're going down to Antelope Creek. There's a big marina there, and they have this bar that we're going to go have dinner at, right? And we're going to go have dinner at Antelope Creek, whatever it's called. And on our way down there, I'm cruising along. I'm only going like 55. And I see these waves come up, so I slow down, and we're going like 30. And I hit one of these things, and I didn't realize how big they were when I was driving. And the entire boat goes straight up, comes straight down. And I'm so happy that we didn't flip backwards. It was pretty bad.
It's still funny passing that Ranger.
Huh?
It's funny passing that Ranger in that
Oh yeah.
on that choppy water.
Oh yeah, there's a big 21-foot Ranger. He's thinking he's chewing up this water, and he's got a big 250. He's hauling ass and all this other stuff. I got this little 200 on the back of my boat, and I'm right over the water. I'm chewing it up, and we're not even like feeling it. 'Cause I got
You see him bouncing around in there.
and he's getting his ass kicked. All this other stuff. I did the same thing to a dude on Amistad down in South Texas, where like I had this guy with me who had never been in a bass cat before, right? And I'm in a 19-foot bass cat, and we're going up at Evans Creek, and the wind was coming bad out of Evans Creek, so it was rough water and all this other stuff. And Lake Amistad is very similar to Lake Powell. It's a giant lake made out of a giant canyon on the Rio Grande. And his big Ranger is getting his ass kicked by these 3-4 footers. And I pass him up. I got this old dude, a retired master sergeant, who's working for the DHS in my boat, and we're just cruising on by. He's like, dude, you're not even hurting my back. And I'm like, I know. And we're kicking their ass.
Corey's asking, what size prop are you running on your Bass Cat? I'm running a Pro Max 27 4 blade on my Allison.
Okay, so on the Puma, I had been running a 26 Ballistic XL. The only reason I'm not running that now is because I found a stump with it. And it does not, some parts of it don't look exactly like a Ballistic XL anymore.
What pitch Pro Max was he running?
Pro Max 27.
27?
That the 300R we had outside had a Pro Max 25 on it.
Yeah.
It's a good prop.
But so currently, as my backup prop, I'm running a 26 T2 Yamaha. So the 26 seems to be perfect for that Puma.
It has a hell of a hole shot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why. I might be able to go up to a 27 in the wintertime up here.
We did eat that cold water there.
Yeah, it might be able to turn a 27 pretty good. But for me, all of the work I did with it down in Florida, when it was warm water almost all the time, 26 was the perfect prop year round. So that's all I know.
That's it. Do you have any?
I haven't anything.
Yeah. Let's see. I keep looking at the picture of the powerful charge.
That we got to put in your boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do that before next week too. And I'll pay you whenever you need it.
Yeah, after the oil change before we leave.
Dude, the powerful charge. That's a cool thing. I love it.
I can tell you that if you want one and you didn't find one already, you're not going to get it because when our power pole rep was here the last time, they have a traveling rep that comes around. She's like, you got that one on demo, you're going to get no more for the year, no matter what you ordered, because supply chain issues. So if you can find one and you want it, you need to get it.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, and and there was a price increase on in February. So if you've got one in a store that you've seen, buy it now before Brandon hikes your price up next week or 2 weeks. Yeah. Oh, we have power poles with travel too, so I'll bring it to Florida if anyone wants any.
What?
Power poles. We put them back in the truck. Delivering to people.
Okay. We're going with Skyline too, right? This is a Skyline sponsored tournament.
Oh, I have no desire to carry much of extra stuff then. Just what they want.
So, dudes of Skyline, phenomenal dudes. We'll talk more about them later.
You're next week on that? Talk about it a little bit?
Corey said that that's going to be his next purchase. Is that powerful charge?
It is a really neat system.
So
Yeah,
I'm
just take them
done
off.
with Minn Kota stuff. I have a Minn Kota charger in my boat. I can't stand the company of Johnson Outdoors, and there's a lot of reasons why. They can't deliver on any of their parts or any of their products.
I got a power pole or a trolling motor I ordered March of 2020 last week.
That's about right. We had Helixes that were ordered in March or April of 2020 get delivered in January of 2021.
Yeah.
So if you look at, if you see a cross industries ad, you won't see Minn Kota, you won't see Humminbird. And there's reasons why. And I had it out with our Humminbird and Minn Kota reps. And they pretty much told me to pound sand, so they can pound sand themselves. So.
George Evans is taking off. He's got to go do a bathroom renovation.
All right. George, have fun at work.
Mm-hmm.
You're Gio.
Oh, no, I don't want to do bathroom renovation.
Right. So, on that note, we've been on for a while. This has been our second time. So, episode 2 of Friday Night Live.
Look at the improvements just in 1 week, too.
Yeah, we
did.
I do have to apologize for last week. I totally thought that I had my HD camera in my computer bag when I brought it here to Tideline. I did not. So, our video was less than what I would prefer it had been. So this week, obviously, we had our HD camera attached and ready to go. We're going to go now. No, I'm good.
There's a little bit.
That's all yours.
I'll save it for you for tomorrow.
Well, you're not driving. So I won't be here tomorrow because I'm going to the Raleigh fishing show.
Buy me some stuff.
Because I'm going to go see Skyline Marine up there. And if you're going to the Raleigh fishing show, go see Skyline Marine. They got all kinds of rods, every Shimano reel you can think of, and they're ready to go. So anyway.
We'll post a link up to Skyline on our website too tonight, just so everyone can know that.
Skyline, great people, love them. And anyway, so like I said, we're gonna get better and better and better. Everything's gonna get awesome. As far as the fish camp, we may have to travel away from the fish camp a little bit. If it's anything like I remember it was, hopefully it improved since the last time I've been there about 4 years ago. There was no cell phone service down there whatsoever.
Perfect.
All right. So
Late of the there, then.
right. So yeah, streaming stuff is kind of difficult to do from the fish camp, but we can stream from almost anywhere on Lake Kissimmee. Just like when you get to the difficult because it's so tucked away on the Kissimmee River.
God, a blanket of no cell phone service there for anglers so they can relax and fish.
Pretty much. So I'm going to leave you on this note, and this is strictly for Tideline Marine. God made saltwater fishing so everybody could catch a fish. He made bass fishing to separate the men from the boys. And that's what we got. And we're going to finish on that. Go ahead. That's it. Good night.
At least ding the bell.